Alright, so this is going to be a video on how to do a 4-link swap completely for free on an Axial Scx24. This is my truck. As you can see, it's fairly heavily modified, mostly free stuff, not a lot of bought mods yet. Got a bit of a weird interior setup, but this video is going to be all about how to 4-link swap your front, and the benefits to that are you're going to get more flex out of your front. So if you've got these double barrel shocks like I do, the 3-link in the front will limit the performance of those, and you just don't really get the full flex out of them. So to make the most out of your money, you can do this 4-link swap, and it'll make the truck way better, and it also stretch your wheelbase a little bit, which will help you going uphill and downhill. So that's nice, but it will require a little body trimming because Alright, so getting into the actual mod part of this, if you've opened up your truck, obviously you'll know there's a bag of spare parts in the bottom. There's an extra drive shaft and a few links, and these links in that drive shaft are what you're going to be using to do this front 4-link. So these bottom links down here, these are what the well, they're the upper links, my bad, upper links. These upper links were the original lower links that are now here. So these are they come stock on the truck installed. Okay, so getting into the actual swap here, these links I mentioned before, which come stock on the truck, which were your lowers before, which is these links right here. These are your lowers that attach into the skid plate. They now become your uppers, which are the ones that attach into the frame right here at this screw. And so you can leave the ball on this end, or attached to the frame on both sides. You can leave the ball in the end of the link. That can stay, and you can use this screw to attach it just like normal. But on this end, where they attach to the servo mount, as opposed to before where it had the screw that went all the way through to hold the Y-link in, you need it to be held in from both sides now because you've got 2 separate links instead of just it coming to one point. And so to achieve that, to screw them into the sides of it, you're going to need some of these little ball screw combination things in the ends of the shocks are exactly what you're going to need. If you don't have any of these laying around, and you can't just take them out of stock shocks because you're still using them, you can buy a set of stock shocks for pretty cheap and just salvage these out of there, or you could upgrade your shocks and use the old ones. That's the route I would go with personally. That's what I did, and not only do you get upgraded shocks out of it, but you can then do this 4-link so you can, use this new shocks to their full potential. But anyway, to get those out, just take your 1.3 millimeter driver, or I guess you could really choose any driver to jam it through there, but this actually fits down in there. So you're just gonna want to put it in there on the side, with the actual hex head, and just push it through. It might feel a little tough, but I promise you're not gonna hurt anything. Just push it through nice and straight, give it a little oomph. But you're gonna want to put those in these end of the links down here, in the upper links where they attach to the servo mount. And I had some troubles trying to do this on my own. That's why I'm making this video. I'm adding in information I never saw on the internet, so I could never figure out how to get these balls out of the end of the links. But if you'll notice, one side here of this link right here is flat. One side's got like an indentation thing on it, but you can also see this side, the hole is more open than it is on this side. So you're gonna want to push it out from this side, or you're gonna want to push it through that way. So you're want to go from this side and push through, and that's how you're gonna get rid of those. And I just use this hex driver for that too. Or you could do something a little bigger. Don't worry too much about messing up those cheap little plastic balls. It's really, you are gonna have to reuse them, so don't mess them up too much. But if you mess them up a little bit, it's not gonna affect your performance too much. But anyways, set those little plastic balls aside. You're gonna need those later, but you want to set those aside and then use those shock ball screw things in here to attach to the servo mount. And I can't speak for every servo mount because I don't know, and I actually don't even know for the stock servo mount. But I don't know if both sides of it are threaded, so I don't know if this will work with the stock one. I currently have the Endura one and both sides are threaded, so that's what I'm using. I've never even tried it with the stock one, so I couldn't tell you. Mofo RC makes one that's threaded on both sides. But yeah, so you might have to get a new servo mount, I'm not sure. Can't give you that piece of information. Hopefully you can find it somewhere else. But anyway, there's 2 plastic balls you took out from earlier. You're gonna reuse those. And so if you're on the Jeep or C10 platform like I am, which both have the same links if you didn't know, and the deadbolt and the Betty are different, the spare rear lower links, these right here, are going to be the ones that you're going to put up front as the lower links. And so you're going to take those 2 plastic balls from earlier that you just took out of the front of these links, and you're going to slide them in here. And then these are just going to screw into there like normal. But if you notice, there's only one of those plastic ball things in the Y-link, so you can only put it in one side of this. And so you're 1 plastic ball short. And that's where you do have to get a bit creative. You have to make your own bushings for these right here. Or you could just put the screw in and it'd be really sloppy, but I wanted to make it a bit nicer. So what I did is, you can probably see the blue in there. I took some... This is just an antenna tube. I believe it's made by ProTech. I'm pretty sure they're all pretty much the same size anyway, so it doesn't really matter where you buy it from. But I had this laying around from when I used it on my Slash. That was super easy to get in there. I just cut little pieces that fit perfectly in there. And then I used an X-Acto knife to remount the hole in the link to make it fit right. And as you can see, you do get some side-to-side wobble, but then there's not any forward and backwards wobble. And it still, you know, articulates just fine. They don't limit it in any way. You know, they don't get it in the way of it. And so, yeah, that's what you're going to want to do there. And that's pretty much everything you need to know. But, I don't know if you guys noticed, but my links are high clearanced. And you don't need to buy aluminum links to do that. You can just do it with the stock ones, is what I did. And so the way I did that is, you're just going to take your lower links off. The lower links are the only ones you need to high clearance, because the upper links, they're not even getting in the way, so it doesn't matter. So you just want to take the lower ones off and find something like little brad nails or just small nails or like a thumbtack or something, and hold them down to like a piece of wood, ideally like a workbench or just a piece of wood you have laying around. And then you're going to want to cover everything that you don't want to bend in aluminum foil. So like all of this, then everything past the bend, like this little short part right there, you're going to cover that in aluminum foil just to block the heat. And you're going to use a lighter or a heat gun or a little blowtorch, just something to get this somewhat hot. And you don't want to like completely melt the plastic, but once it starts getting a little bubbly and shiny, that's when you know it's good and ready to bend. And yeah, that's how I did that. Oh, and as for the drive shaft here, this is the spare drive shaft. There's only 2 pieces in there. There's a short one and a long one, so it's not hard to tell which one it is. But basically what I did with this is I got a rough estimate of how long it needed to be. I hacksawed off most of it, and then you'll notice if you hacksaw it or file it, you'll see it kind of melts the plastic, so the end of it will be all kind of like messed up, and you can't get the male part of the drive shaft into the female part. So what I did was I took an X-Acto knife and just kind of whittled down the end of it, and that opened it up, and that worked just fine. As you can see, I've got a little gap in it like the rear does. Obviously not the same, but it doesn't matter. The drive shaft doesn't separate. It doesn't constrict travel, so it's fine. Yeah, so as far as the foiling goes, that's pretty much it. And then another thing I'd recommend is, if you're doing these double barrel shocks, you're probably going to want a limiting strap in the front, maybe even in the rear. I haven't bothered because it doesn't affect performance too much to not have it in the rear. It only affects it going downhill. But basically, sometimes you'll notice when you're going uphill, especially if you have springs. Here, let me zoom out here. Oh, I guess I can't. Well, I guess I'll try and get you guys a good view. But as you can see, your shocks will unload and they'll extend really far down, and that'll cause your body to go like that. So your chassis will kind of be flat like that, and your body will be way up in the air like that. And it'll basically throw your center of gravity way back. Your truck will flip, and it won't do any good. But I've just got a piece of 30-pound braided fishing line in the middle here. If you just tie it around the servo mount right there, and then I have it tied to the this ESC chair here, which I have cut, but you could drill holes in it to mount it there. But you want it to be right in the center, and what that'll do for you is it'll make your down travel limited, but it'll keep your flex, you know, nice and flexy. So it doesn't limit flex in any way, it just limits down travel to keep you from having that uphill problem. And yeah, so as far as that goes, that's pretty much it for the 4-link and the suspension and everything. I'm gonna be doing a rig rundown, like showing you guys everything I've done to this in a future video, showing you guys the body, showing you guys it running on my course, all that. But it's snowy and cold outside right now, so I have to get around to that sometime later when I'm not at school. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, just leave them down there in the comments, and I'll try to get to them as fast as I can. So yeah,